crois pas que le problème vient d'ici. Si je parle, tu m'entends? Allô? Moi, je t'entends pas. Je t'entends de là-bas parce que bah, t'es juste à côté de moi, mais...
Est-ce que vous nous entendez?
Maintenant, oui.
Est-ce que vous nous attendez?
Oui, maintenant, oui.
Oui,
Oula,
bonjour.
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 Bien, maintenant. Allô?
Oui, allô.
Ok.
Pour l'instant, ça va, mais ça coupe tout le temps.
D'accord.
Oui.
Espérons que ça va durer quelques temps.
Ouais.
Okay, can you hear me now? I'm trying a different connection. It looks like there is sound coming through. So please let me know in the chat box if you can hear me.
Yes, we hear.
Wonderful. Okay, hopefully this will be a little bit more consistent and won't go in and out. All right, we're going to try this again. So for the third time, hopefully it is a charm. My name is Nancy Mosinski. I'm one of the trainers here at Rail Europe, and I've been with the company for about 7 years. I want to introduce you to our Extranet, which is going to be a really handy tool for you. I know some of you may not have logins available at this point, but I believe Vita Wood had sent you an email yesterday with some basic logins so that you can get into the Extranet, even though you may not have a Euronet login. I'm going to go ahead and record this, and great, yes, it looks like we're recording so that we'll have this for future reference if you want to refer back to it. Hopefully at the end of this lesson you'll be able to find out how to look up products and features and also find out about how to troubleshoot errors while you're booking trains. Now this is our Extranet homepage right here. And the two main things that we have here are the spotlight. This is our rotating carousel that goes through different promotions and items that might be of interest. So that'll kind of scroll through on its own, or you can click on the little buttons here to scroll through. Most importantly probably is the bulletin board. This is going to keep you aware of any kind of strike or construction information, any issues that may be happening with the rail carriers. So if you find yourself needing to book a train and you go to confirm it and it's not confirming, this will give you some insight as to why that might be happening. So if you click on bulletin board, you can see details here. This is something that we've been having to deal with for the past few months. As you can see, the strike dates are rather extensive for France, so this is great information here, letting you know when the trains will be running and when not. Also gives you some local time for the different locations that we have for Rail Europe. You can see specific train information as far as which train numbers have been canceled, so a lot of great information there. You can also get other information. So there's miscellaneous information as far as whether an office might be closed, if a product's being discontinued. So that's stuff that doesn't fit under the strike or disruption category. Disruptions are either strikes, whether there's construction on a line, so that'll give you information there. This will tell you when Euronet might be down or when it was down, so that you have some information as to what might be impacting Euronet. Also, whether there's increases or decreases on pricing. So that'll let you know that if you see a price change, when that's going to be happening. And then also there's promotions here. So this will be, as you can see here, a reminder that a promo might be ending soon. So lots of really great information, lots of tools at your disposal here. Then there's the basic news flash. This will tell you if there's, like for instance, we have Fjord tours that were open for sale, the 2017 Eurail Pass ticket cover, and then we've got product news. So there's the product update. We can click on this, find out what might be new and upcoming or changing in the future. You can click on this to enlarge it, to make it easier to view, and then you can find out about specific promotions that may be happening. Okay. So that is the product news. Whenever you want to get back to the home page, all you need to do is click on the Rail Europe logo up top here. Just click on that, and then it'll take you right back to the home page. Okay, so now all of the headers here are where you can find other information. Practical information is probably where you're going to spend most of your time and find most of your relevant information. But of course, if you get any time on your hands and you want to take a look and just poke around on the Extranet, I'd highly recommend it, because there's lots of, as I said, great information here where you can find a lot of great tips and information about specific products that we offer. So we'll quickly look at European travel. Obviously, Rail Europe, this is probably the bulk of what we do. We have information on passes here. Now, you do have to kind of keep your mouse here and then scroll over. If you click on this, it won't hold this. So to get down to the next tier, you do have to kind of hover over this and then go to the next group. And then as you see, we could even have a subcategory here, and then go further on to find the item that you want. So that can be a little tricky to navigate, but you'll get used to it, I'm sure. It's not that difficult. So for instance, if we're looking for information on passes, let's take a look at the Eurail passes, which are probably some of the most popular ones that we offer. And then let's get more information about a global pass. So we click on this, and this takes us to the product fact sheet. Now the nice thing here is this has content over to the side. If ever you're looking for something specifically, you can just click on that and it'll take you right to that location on the product fact sheet. So you can either scroll down to find information, or from the top you can click on this directly and it'll take you right to that segment. So if you want information on child rules, you just click on that and it'll take you further down right to that location there. So you can find out for this particular pass that children that are between 4 and 11 travel for free with a child pass. Anybody under 4 travels for free and doesn't need a pass, so lots of great information here. Okay. All of these tend to be laid out in very similar formats, so once you get used to the format, it'll apply for anything you're looking at. So it'll say the features, the child rules, eligible, who's eligible, what the individual fares are, what some benefits might be, the conditions of use, so how long do you have to use the pass, is it refundable, if so, how do you ask for a refund, packaging instructions, so what you need to include, what kind of ticket jacket to use with that. So I'll just scroll down a little bit slowly just so we can get an idea of what one product fact sheet might look like. So this will show you the features. This is the coverage map for that particular pass, which countries are included, which within those countries, which rail carriers honor that pass. As we saw, the child rules, eligible parties. There are some European residents that we're not able to sell the pass to. They have a specific type of pass that are particularly for European citizens. So we have to make sure that we sell these passes only to people that qualify for them. And then there's prices for the individual fares. And that's just taking a second here to open up. Let me move that over. So here's the pricing and the validity. You can see the price in euro there. Spring promos, country combination prices, etc. So all the prices listed there. Then there's also a list of benefits. Your rail does come with a great amount of benefits here, and you can also click on the countries here. It'll take you right to that specific country. So let's say for, let's look at the benefits again here. Let's take a look at France. And let's enlarge this a little bit. So it tells you what the bonuses might be included with each particular pass and each particular country. So in some of these, it may offer you a free city card, maybe some discounts on hotels, maybe access to lounges, maybe discounts on ferries. So lots of great information here. Okay. And then let's also, oh, let me go back here one moment. Don't want to scroll too fast and make you all dizzy here. Okay, and then as I said, then the packaging instructions. Here's also the information on refunds, whether it's 85% refundable, and what the conditions of those refunds are. Usually with passes, they need to be unused, unvalidated, and then they're applicable or eligible for an 85% refund if they're not used. So that's a basic product fact sheet for a global pass. Let's take a look at a different one. Let's maybe take a look at the Brit Rail. Now, Brit Rail is a specific type of pass that has many different types of configurations depending on where people are traveling. So if they're staying just in Scotland, let's see, you can click on that. If they're mainly staying in England, not going to Scotland or Wales, just venturing just outside of London, we have the London Plus. Brit Rail Pass covers everything. Then we have the Scottish Highlands, etc. Let's take a look at the just regular Brit Rail Pass. So as you can see here, we've got the content to the side again. Shows you the map of coverage. Also shows you with this map which type of pass might be applicable for the travel. The difference between a flexi and a consecutive pass. What qualifies as a child, who's eligible to purchase this type of pass, fares, benefits, if there's seat reservations that are required or necessary, how you go about those. With this particular case, the reservations can only be made locally. And if there's a refund offered. And then we've got some frequently asked questions about this and the type of cover that's meant to be used with that particular pass. So again, lots of great information on that. So that's basically the passes. You can scroll through all of those and get yourself familiarized with that, or just take a look as the need arises if somebody has a specific question in regarding to one particular pass. We also have information here about point-to-point tickets. That's where we have tickets that are going from point A to point B, where a pass is not necessarily the best way to accommodate travel. Let's say they only have one or two segments, or a pass just, price-wise doesn't make sense. So you can get the information here about point-to-point tickets. This is in regards to open tickets. Now, these are tickets that do not include a reservation. They're exactly what they say. They're open. So they're valid for a period of time on a specific route. In some cases, an additional seat reservation might be possible to be made. Oftentimes, we can make them. The traveler can also make them locally at the rail station. Let's take a look at the European open tickets. This will give us a little bit more information here. So as you can see here, exactly what I mentioned, they're open date tickets that don't restrict the traveler to a specific date. valid to travel in 22 European countries, valid for a single rail journey from one destination in Europe to another, only valid on a specific route as mentioned on the ticket, usually available in first or second class. And then if they're using this for a scenic train, as in Switzerland, or perhaps a high-speed train, there would be an additional price or supplement for reservation that would be required to be paid. But as you can see here, the same thing, children's rules, groups, conditions of use, etc. So there's your information on open tickets. For trains, we have specific information here too. Day trains, you can find out about them. In particular, let's look at the France TGV. All of the features here, which routes and travel times, what are the onboard services, individual fare types, what the booking horizon might be, what the ticketing time limit is there an exchange or refunds, what the terms and conditions are for those, how this pertains to groups, check-in procedures, things that are specific to this train. There are seat maps just so you can get an idea of the configuration of the train, frequently asked questions, and the covers that are meant to be used with this. So as you can see here, this is what this train covers, these routes here. Some services, some pictures to show you what the interior of the train might be looking like, just so you can get an idea of the differences there between maybe first and second class. Other services that are offered, like maybe a bar car. The different types of fares that are offered on this particular train, and what the booking horizon is, ticketing time limits, news about exchanges and refunds, groups, check-in procedures, things that are specific to this train, so whether you have to validate the ticket before you board. And then there's seat maps here for each particular train, frequently asked questions, on the cover that's used. Okay. Other products then we've got our city passes. You can look for specific information on the Berlin Pass, London Pass, Omnia Vatican and Rome card, or the Paris Pass. Oop. That's what I was talking. It's a little tricky to navigate. You kind of have to go slowly here. And then over, let's take a look at the London Pass here. So that'll still give you information on that. And then we've got information on different luxury trains and cruises here. So that's in particular to specific to European travel. We also have a tab here for non-European travel for trains in Africa, Asia, Australia, Japan, North America, and South Korea. That one will probably not get used as often. As I said, we usually tend to focus on European travel, but just know that that tab is there for use. Where you're going to find probably most of your information is going to be under practical information. This is going to be probably where you will find most of the answers to the questions that come up as people ask them. Lots of great information here about airport connections. A lot of people want to know, well, I'm flying into this airport. How do I get to the train station? Or is the train station actually located in the airport? So this will give you some specific information here. For instance, let's take a look at London Heathrow. This will give you some basic information on the airport. Basic travel times to common routes, how to get to the city center. So it'll tell you about the Heathrow Express, car rental, if you can take the tube, or if there's other local transportation like metro transportation. And then there's underground service to that airport as well. Okay. 10 reasons to travel by train. People might want to know what makes it beneficial. If you haven't had the chance to do European travel yourself, this is a good thing to look over. It gives you the information on why traveling by train is such a great opportunity. Basically, there's no hassle. You avoid crowded airports. You can go where you want. You end up from city center to city center. Oftentimes, it's very economical to travel by train. You can go when you want because there's multiple services throughout the day. It's easy to do a day trip, It's convenient to travel in style. Oftentimes it's just not cost effective to travel first class on an airline, but for just a few dollars more you can travel in first class on a train. Oftentimes too we may even have fares in first class that are less expensive than second class. It can happen. So it's a great way to take advantage of that more comfortable mode of travel. You can travel overnight, so if you have a route that might take maybe 9 to 10 hours to travel normally, you can just go ahead and take a train. You can accommodate your travel and your accommodation at the same time and basically wake up in your city center ready to go. You can also get off the beaten track, meet the locals. This is probably one of my favorite points of traveling by train, is that you can talk to other travelers, you can talk to local people, you can really get a flavor of the country that you're traveling in. Also, I like traveling by train because you actually see the country that you're in instead of traveling over it. You're seeing the countryside, and basically once you board the train, I turn off my brain and enjoy the scenery. And also trains are more environmentally friendly, so reasons to travel there. This will give you some great information here about the booking horizons for specific trains. Most trains in general are about 3 months in advance. As you can see here, the bulk of them are 90 days in advance. And then we have, of course, some exceptions to the rule, and that'll let you know if you're trying to book a train and it's kicking back an error message or saying that that train's not available, then you can check the booking horizon and see exactly when that train might be available for purchase. Border towns. So this will show you what the borders are in case you need to split up an open ticket. We have some carrier presentations here that you can check out. Child ages, this is just some specific information about child information. You can check that by product. Yeah, let me drag that over here. So you can see what's considered an infant, child, youth, adult, and senior for each particular train carrier. Information for disabled travelers. Equipment codes, which is kind of handy. You can tell them by the equipment code what particular train carrier that is. Here's another important feature would be the error messages. So when you get error messages when you're booking in Extranet, this will show you that here. Let me pull this over. So as you can see here, these are error messages that'll happen with any particular carrier. So this is going to be the small error that pops up, and then when you click on further details, this will be the secondary message that you see. These are errors specific to ATOC, one's specific to DB Direct. So when you get this error message, you'll be able to see maybe what might be a workaround or what might be causing the error. So that'll hopefully allow you to work around that and get your items booked. So you see things for Renfe specifically. So that's handy to have. We also have a tab here for your rail aid offices. So if somebody ends up losing their pass and needs assistance, you can click on that. It'll show you in which cities your rail has an aid office, and also what the hours of operation of that office are. They're usually located in the main train stations in major cities, so they're fairly convenient and able to help travelers if they run into any issues with their passes. There's some Extranet tips here. Also information on European rail stations. So you can find out specifically here. These are some of the main ones. Inventory opening times. So this will tell you too, sometimes when you're booking in Extranet, you might get an error message saying that international placement is down. This will tell you when those connections are open, so that you might where it's hosted in Euronet as well. So whether this is a direct connect, whether it's through Hermes, so that kind of gives you an idea too as to if you might be running into a problem booking a specific product. Information about luggage, also about non-reservable trains, packaging standards for each of the items, some great information on pets, whether they're allowed, what kind, if there's any cost, or what other kind of stipulations might be required for pets. There's other training presentations and travel tips. I'm going to show you travel tips as well. I think this is exceptionally handy. Now this is where you might have somebody that asks, I want to go to Pompeii. Well, maybe you haven't been there before and you try to type in Pompeii into Euronet, and schedules really aren't coming up, or things that don't look like they're accurate are coming up. All you need to do is click on the letter P, and here's information on Pompeii. So this will tell you what you might need to ask or how you would book that. So you want to know whether the people want to actually go to the ruins or to the modern city. Tells you what the ticket in Euronet that we sell, or this is from Rome to Naples. That's to the modern city, not to the ruins. So if they want to use that to go to Pompeii, they need to purchase another ticket. So, and then whether they need to take this local train, the Circumsuviana towards Sorrento, and that's how it makes a stop there at the ruins. So for things that you may not find in Euronet when you're scrolling on the city, this will show you how you actually go to book that, or what is the nearest train station to that. So some people might ask to Alhambra. That's not going to show up in Euronet. Closest rail station is Granada, so that you know that that's as close as you can get them, and then from there what they'll need to do to continue on. Amalfi Coast is another popular one. So I definitely would recommend just giving a quick scroll through this, just so you can see what is offered as far as travel tips. So that way when you maybe run into that place name in the future, you'll remember, oh wait, I think I remember seeing that in travel tips. Cinque Terre is another one that's very important to know about. This will tell you what are the trains, how to get there from Milan, how to get there from La Spezia. So just scrolling through these pretty quickly for you here. And as I said too, you can also just go to the top here and scroll to the letters specifically themselves. Normandy is another popular one. Neuschwanstein Castle is also a very popular one. This is the one that Disney based his Cinderella Castle off of. So a lot of great travel tips here. Okay. And then we've got our news. That's another way to access that bulletin board. And then frequently asked questions about our direct connections and other. So that is basically the extranet. We've got links at the bottom here too for rail passes, for day trains, Swiss products, night trains, and tours. You can go right to that carrier specifically so that you can get information right off of their website. And as I said, just if you have any moments to a free time, I know everybody's so busy these days, but if you do have a spare moment, I do recommend just kind of poking around the extranet. I think that you'll find that it's incredibly helpful, and once you familiarize yourself with it, it's very, very easy to use and has lots of great information. If you have any specific questions, please feel free to pose them in the chat box. Otherwise, if you don't have any questions, I want to thank you for joining me this morning or this day. And I hope you learned a little bit about the extranet that's going to be helpful to you. And just have a great rest of your day. But I will stay around. I will stay around for a little while and answer any questions you might have. Oh, and then also just to let you know, we will be covering error messages next week. So Hopefully it's something that you don't encounter that frequently, but it's something that's very beneficial to know about what those messages include. So have a great rest of your day, and if you have questions, go ahead and pose them in the chat box. I'll stay around for a few moments.